as actors, as artists, one of the most important things you have in your life, besides your talent, is your own specific authenticity. What does that mean without it sounding all new age and without it sounding the right thing? Well, here's the deal. It's about it not being the right thing. It's about you not being the correctness of what's expected. Authenticity does not live within an idea of the way things are supposed to be. Authenticity lives in one thing, and that is authentic action within the intimacy of a relationship. At the end of the day, as actors, your authenticity can only be seen through the extension of action. How else is the audience going to see that kind of authenticity? No one has access to your internal world. The only way your internal world has life is through extended action. So as actors, it's so important for us to understand that our authenticity exists within the action of what we do to try to change another human being. Here's the deal. This is the biggest obstacle about authenticity. We live in correctness. We live in social norms. We live in trying to be this idea of a, quote, good person, end quote. And at the end of the day, that's not what's required of you up here. What's required of you in this space is the authenticity of a human being based on the circumstances that they are in and how they are trying to change another person to get what they want in order to fulfill a need that improves their lives moment to moment based on their spine and why their history created their spine that gets them to go after the things they want to go after in their life. But we live in a world of superficiality. We live in a world of Instagram filters, of promotions, of paying to be seen a certain way, of multiple filters to create an appearance of a humanity that lives in perfection. That's myth. That's fairy tale. We can't work that way as actors. Part of the human condition is the messiness of what it means to be a human being. The messiness to wake up to what it means to be human. Not about being pretty, not about being neat, not about being tidy and clean and perfect, but human. The authenticity of what it means to be a human being, going through difficult circumstances, no matter what those circumstances are, and then taking the risk to not say the right thing or to appear to do the right thing, but taking the risk to take the action that helps achieve the need with the authentic vulnerability of extending action to try to change another human being. We don't want to do that because it's risky to try to change another human being. It's risky because it takes inconvenience on our part to have to deal with either the successes of those actions or the consequences of those actions not fulfilling our want. But at the end of the day, the most important gift you have for your work and in your work is your authenticity of a raw experience that drives you into action. We love the blueprint. We love the idea. We love the idea. We love playing the idea. My God, we love to play the idea. You want to know why we love playing the idea? You want to know why we love the blueprint? Because it's safe. It's comfortable. It looks like it checks the box. It colors in the lines. But that's not the truth. The truth lives within the gap of the unknown of the moment. That takes courage. That takes fearlessness. That takes a willingness to say, I'm going to allow myself to experience something based on the circumstances, based on all the action that is being thrown at my way. And I'm going to allow myself, based on the work that I've done and the spine that I've created for my character, to have an authentic, raw, unfiltered, uncaricaturized experience in which I do one thing, and that is expose who I am under these circumstances. To expose who I am in my authenticity as it pertains to the character within these circumstances. It's a scary thing. You want to know why? Because we don't want to expose ourselves. We don't want to show people that we're fallible. We don't want to share our brokenness. We don't want to let people in on the cracks. But here's the deal. If you want to do this kind of work, the only way the light shows is through the cracks. That's what creates the story. That's the thing that we relate to. That's the thing that connects an audience to characters. It's the cracks. It's the roughness of the human condition. That takes extreme vulnerability. That takes extreme courage. That takes strength. That takes stamina. That takes willingness. But it also takes a want. It takes a want to be that kind of actor, willing to expose yourself, to expose your authenticity within the world of the circumstances, to take off the civilian masks of trying to appear a certain way. This idea of perfection, this idea of being the next good person, the next civilian icon. One of the things that we learn, if we look at, let's just say for an example of story, all the spiritual leaders, all of them, what's the one thing they all have in common? Every single one of them has had to walk through some kind of Hades to get to where they are as spiritual leaders. To those kinds of people is because they went through the authenticity of the human experience that allows people to relate and connect. Now, I'm not saying actors are big spiritual leaders, but what I'm saying is there's something that brings an audience in connection to what actors do. And a lot of times, it's as many people as are going to a spiritual venue. Think about how many people are watching TV every day, or going to the movies every day, or going to the theater every day. It's got to be billions every day. Well, what is it? What is that thing? It's the authenticity of the human experience. If we know that 1% of actors have the opportunity to work, well, we have to ask ourselves, besides luck, because let's be honest, luck is a huge factor, but we don't have control over luck. We have control of our instrument and what we're willing to do with it. What do we have? We have us. We can't get lost in this idea of trying to be and do something that doesn't live and extend within the authenticity of action. No one knows what's going on in your internal world. It doesn't tell the story. You can be dying inside right now, right? I don't know anything. All I see is a human being sitting there, hopefully smiling under his mask. And yeah, but I have no idea what is going on in you. So there's no story, except the one that I start to create in my mind, which then you don't know because it's living internally in me. But when an actor allows that authenticity of the internal world to be extended into action, with the authenticity of true nature of action, to try to change a human being, not just by your words. It's not about what you say. It's what you do. It's what gets extended through the energy of your instrument to try to change another human being in the space that gives them the greatest gift in the world, and that is an authentic experience to then try to change you. We get lost. We get lost because we want the A+. We want the check mark. We want the 100%. We want that beautiful blue check mark on Instagram or Twitter or TikTok that all of a sudden validates us of our authenticity. No. Your authenticity is not in what is put on you. It's what you share. It's what you give. It's what you do. That's the thing that moves mountains in the work. That's the thing that creates incredible performances. One of the things that was so clear in all of their lives' stories is how much they've been through. And when you look at their work, you see it. You see them bring this incredible life to their work because they share their authenticity. They expose who they are through the circumstances that have been given to them. You have to take the risk. And we have to start holding on to the willingness to stop going so internal about trying to find the shell of correctness in our work, goodness in what we do, and start just having an authentic experience based on all the work we've done, and start doing something with it. Every time that I have a lecture, the last thing I am thinking about is how I'm feeling. All I'm thinking about is sending the energy out in order to somehow, some way, change or shift each and every one of you in whichever way, in whichever actions I choose to use for that class. Whatever the case may be, I'm constantly extending the internal world into action to try to achieve a specific objective, to try to achieve a specific want. Try not to color it in a way that's going to somehow, some way make it comfortable. Comfort does not allow the muscle to grow. Go that extra mile to have an experience that allows us to get out of our everyday life of taking one foot in front of the other, doing the same thing every day, experiencing routine, and shift it to experience something else so we can learn ourselves in a different way. So in those different moments, we have something more to pull from our vocabulary to bring to our work. But it's not going to happen by taking the same road every day. You have to take the risk to say, who the hell am I? Not who I want other people to see me as. Not how I want other people to see me. But who am I? Because until you can really start questing into that question, because again, you'll never be able to answer that question because the who am I changes all the time based on the circumstances you experience. But you've got to ask yourself, who am I? And then find the truth of that within every circumstance you're in. Quest into, wait a second, who am I in this circumstance right now? What is my truth? I can stop with the ideas that I bring to my work and to find, who am I right now? What's going on in me right now? What's my truth? Not the idea of it. Because until you can start becoming aware of your own truth, of your authenticity, how do you then experience the authenticity within the circumstances that a character has to go through? You are the instrument. It's you. They're watching the actor. They're not in the actor, they're watching him or her or them. And in order to watch someone, you need to see them in action. If that doesn't inspire you, I don't know what can. What other business is there that says to you who you are in your most messy and clean, pretty and ugly, good, bad, success, failure, all these color wheels of the human condition, what business says yes to it? The only place you can live in your authenticity is up here. This is the only business that your authenticity is the answer.